Hey everybody, how's it going? Nick here, founder of LeadMiningPros.com, and I am bringing another masterclass directly to you. Now, this is a brand new strategy, or at least to me it is, and I'm actually pretty excited about the way that this has unfolded. Me and our guest today, his name is Anthony. Anthony, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining us. So, me and Anthony, we've known each other. I've actually used his business for a couple of services in the past myself. That's how we met. He actually served me at Lead Mining, which was awesome. Thank you for that. He fixed a massive email issue that we were having, and that was so awesome of him. So that's how we met, and then I ended up getting to know him a little bit better, and he actually has a system for real estate investors where they use LinkedIn to get you access to more buyers and sellers, to help you build credibility in your market, and also help them close more deals. And I asked him a couple of questions, so I know the gist of it, but I purposefully did not want to know a lot. And the reason why is I wanted to come into this like a customer myself. I wanted to ask him questions that you would want to ask. You know, I'm a little confused. I have some questions about social media. I don't personally use LinkedIn very much, so I do not necessarily know the power at my fingertips. So I'm going to go into this completely blind. And Anthony has assured me that he's already been asked every question because he's been doing this for a very long time. He goes, Nick, there's nothing you can ask me, so I'm okay with this format. So Anthony, thank you for your courageousness
Yeah.
on that. But this is good. I am genuinely excited. I can't lead you in any direction. I have no. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of lead with my confusion, right? Which is super exciting. So anyways, Anthony, tell me just real fast, who you are before we get into all that, who you are, why you created this, and what exactly it does.
Yeah. So obviously, my name's Anthony Simonie. I live in Austin, Texas. Have married to my wife Jill. Have a couple kids through adoption, Miles and Daisy, and I'm a big advocate for adoption and foster care, mainly because I was adopted myself, and that's why I decided, or Jill and I should say, to be politically correct. We both decided together that adoption was the path forward, just because we wanted to do it, not because we have no clue if we could have biological children or not, but we just knew how much of a blessing it was for me, and literally it saved my life. So we figured, you know what? Let's pass that blessing on to some more children. And that's how we started our family. But on the professional side, the business side, I've been in business on my own since 2007. So we're like 18 plus years into this. And I've started and run multiple multi-million-dollar businesses, both offline and online. And so I've seen a lot over that time. And, one of the things that I've seen that, I've seen a lot change over that time, but one of the things I see that doesn't change is that's what builds a successful, sustainable business that lasts through all these different changes that we're seeing even now, and that is having strong relationships. And so the reason why I created this is because I think with all the technology, all the AI, which I think is fine and fun and interesting and useful in some cases, I think there's a lot of people getting away from the building of relationships, and that is the most important part. And then you just sort of take these other tools and you plug them in where it makes sense to make things more efficient. But the interesting thing with LinkedIn is that LinkedIn is an entire network of business professionals. And when they're on this network, they know what they're there to be doing, right? They're not like, you don't surprise them, interrupt their day. They're there when they're active. They are networking.
Or
They're looking
business.
to solve. Yeah, they're looking to solve a problem, or to grow their business, or to hire somebody. All that kind of stuff happens on that platform. So long as you don't come across as a spammer or somebody that's doing like, hey, just pay me some money. Cash grabbing is what I like to call that.
Yeah.
Then you can get some really great conversations with people that can change your business in a very short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that framing. I think that that's very good, to think about like that. Kind of even just saying it like that, it opened me up a little bit, right? Like we're not going to LinkedIn about our personal problems. We're not posting, like I'm a Facebook user, right? So Facebook is a highly personal platform. People are, hey, I got divorced here. They're making all these kinds of announcements. There's family photos, there's kids, there's relationships, right? There's all this stuff. LinkedIn is where when people open up that app, they got money on the mind.
Yeah, business on the brain, and they are. It's not that you want to be personable. You want to be that. But if you, to use your example, if you're talking about a divorce, you better relate it back to how it relates to business, right? Because you can, and you can absolutely do that, right? You can always draw a parallel and relate it to that. So I would say if you're producing any content or sharing or posting on LinkedIn, you could take a Facebook post, for example, and you can turn it into a LinkedIn worthy post. You just have to put a little bit more care and time and thought into it.
Yeah.
And I think you should do that, because what it does is it opens you up to another platform of people that, again, could be very useful for your business growth.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is I've known that LinkedIn was an untapped resource even for me, right? I then, because especially for me, I mean, I am B2B, right? I mean, I service real estate investors. And so I'm actually selfishly excited to hear how you help these people, because I have a use, right? I need this myself. And I think we all do. Once we know how to use these tools, we can then point it at anything that we want to. So, I've been knowing LinkedIn was an untapped resource for me, and I think maybe I just made excuses to not get involved. Some reason why I'm not good at TikTok, right? And it's like, sometimes things just come and go and I miss them, and that's okay. I'm excited to learn this because one thing that isn't like that is AI. Right, AI is not going to come and go like that.
Yeah.
That is fact. So like, I've actually made a commitment this month. I'm a little behind. I want to learn one new thing in AI every day in March. Okay, because I don't know shit, so it's not going to be hard to teach me one new thing, anyways. But I think LinkedIn is one of those resources that when you understand the power, I have a feeling that we're going to come to this conclusion that because it is the business social media platform, that if you are doing business, that's kind of what I'm hearing, judging by what you said. If you're doing business, this thing's not going to pass by you. It's just going to be an untapped pool of potential until you're willing to tap it.
It's relationship, right? So I think people are like, oh, why you always focus on relationships so much? It's because that's everything, right? And that, to your point, that's not going anywhere. And if it does, we got bigger problems. Right. And if we're not needed anymore, then probably should be focusing on some other things.
Yeah, right.
Because, humans, we as humans, we thrive on that human-to-human connection. That's how we build that relationship. That's how if we don't know a person, and I'm seeing this a lot more now. And in fact, there's this catchphrase going around now called the authenticity apocalypse is what they're calling it, right? And also we're in this trust recession that people keep using, right? And so people want to know more and more now that you're authentic, that you're real, because even the average Joe, average Jane knows what a chatbot is. So when you know that, now they're going to be looking for reasons to not do business, right? So if you're in real estate, for example, think about that's it's an emotional thing for a lot of people, right? Talking to buyers, sellers, whatever it is, the numbers have to make sense, but even more importantly than the numbers is the people behind the numbers, right? There's a story behind the numbers. And when you could focus on that story and you can think about the relationship and communicate with a person like a person instead of just like a number, that changes the game. And the other thing about LinkedIn I want to mention is that the reason why everybody here listening should go to their profile and they should optimize it is because when people are doing business with you or considering doing business with you, the first thing they're going to do is look you up online. I don't care who you are. The days of people just trusting you are gone. Oh, just trust me, right? Just trust me, Nicholas. No, you should just trust me.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't need to.
It's gone.
We got ChatGPT. I got one friend that puts everyone's name into ChatGPT and just says, "Tell me about this person."
Yeah.
And but no, 100%. And Googling their name. Back in the day, you didn't have these libraries at your fingertips, right? So
no.
This is something.
Because here's the thing. The point is, with LinkedIn, for the people that understand SEO, they've got a near perfect Moz domain score. So what that means is that when they type your name in, if you've got a LinkedIn profile, it's popping up on the first page and usually in the first position.
I love that. Right.
Right. So you want it working for you, not against you, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You want to be in control of the information. I've even heard of people that have had, bad news come out against them, and whether it's like a lie, and then there was like, well, there's no way to take it down. We only can put good news around it, right?
Yep.
And I think that's you controlling at least what people are finding in and I didn't know that either, and that makes perfect sense. Leverage their SEO dollars, and that's really what you're saying. They spend probably millions of dollars a year on SEO, and you're basically leveraging that by having a LinkedIn.
We're just piggybacking off their reputation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Right.
We're just like, look,
That's right.
Because the stats show this. They did a survey, and 73% of buyers said they are more likely to consider a brand if the salesperson reached out via LinkedIn. That's the only change. The salesperson reached out via LinkedIn. So you're borrowing the trust that's already baked into the platform, and as long as you're not forgive my French, but looking like an a-hole, right? You're not carrying yourself like an a-hole, or you're one of those type of people, and you're focused on relational sort of marketing, then you can actually get to those people and get the conversations you're wanting to get to where you want to go.
Well, I think that really resonates with my message, because I think I have a course that I give away for free. It's my onboarding course. And it teaches my clients how to convert the leads. And I probably say the word love 30 times. Hey, we got to get them to love you. We got to get them to love you. And it's like, that's why I think you speaking relationships really going to speak a lot to my clients and my audience, because that's my total vibe. I have people call me up and they go, hey, do you do owner finance leads? And I go, yeah, we can do owner finance leads. But to be 100% clear, I wouldn't owner finance you $100 bicycle if I didn't like you. And I say that to my clients because it's not my cold call. My cold caller's not going to convince them of terms to their property, right?
Yeah.
You showing up friendly and professional. I mean, owner finance is them loaning you a house.
Yeah.
Like that takes trust. And so I just try to remind my clients, like, if they don't love us, we're not getting the best price. And it's really as simple as that. And so I like that you attack it from that angle, the relationship side. I mean, we're here to meet and greet. And if we're lucky, we have a coffee. And if we're super lucky, we figure out a way to refer people to each other. And it's like that, even with my clients, you guys might know this. My cell phone number's on the website. You jump in a live chat, you get me. Why is that? Because I know how important our relationship is. I don't even care if you buy. I just want you to call, right? And it's because relationship wins every time. And I know if you call today and we have a great talk and you're not ready, and 6 months later you're ready, you're going to come back to the guy you had a great talk with, right? So in this strategy, and I think this is what he's getting into, right, is the relationship, because it's about throwing out the breadcrumbs and then feed in the pigeons that come, right? It's essentially what's happening. And something I just want to point out to everyone, I wrote this down earlier. People aren't looking for reasons to do business with you. People are looking reasons for not to do business with you.
Yeah.
Dude, that is 100% true. Almost every video I see right now, I'm like, not every video, but certain videos of people I know and friends of mine, I'm like, are they using AI? Almost every now, and I got a pretty good eye for this stuff.
Yeah.
But man, AI is just getting so good. Because if one of my friends has an older camera and it doesn't look super crisp, I immediately think it's AI now. If it's just a little bit lower quality, I'm like, that could be AI. And to your point, I purposefully want to distance myself more from someone using more AI than less.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're using AI to do a walk and talk on your phone, you are way too lazy for me.
Yeah.
Okay? To want to do business with. And I think and when you said that, that's what hit me, is like, wow, we're looking for reasons not to do business with people. So the other point of having a great relationship is, and I love what you were saying, because you were getting into the bio. Okay. And the guys, a cool thing to point out about Anthony is the same way I'm an expert with our cold calling script and our strategies and our text messages. This is all Anthony has been doing. So when he says, hey, well, this is how we optimize the bio, it's not some idea that was came up with it. It's just like my script. It's time tested, proven strategy, right? So that's the other thing I was picking up on when you were talking about editing the bio. I was like, I can't actually wait to see how that works, because there is a mastery. Like cold calling taught me this. There's a mastery in everything.
Yeah.
You know, there's doing it badly, there's doing it great, and then there's like absolutely crushing it, and we have to figure out where we land with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge, people don't realize that the relationship starts there, right? And it's very important that you kick that relationship off on the right foot, right? Whether it be your first conversation or they look you up online, what are they going to find? You want to, like you said, you want to control as much of that as possible. And one of the easy ways you can do that is use LinkedIn, because they've got the reputation. The search engines love them. AI it loves them as well. So it's like, use it to your advantage. It's just another credibility piece that says, hey, I'm a business professional. I'm not just somebody that got your name and is trying to call and do a real estate deal. It's like, you can trust me. Look, LinkedIn trusts me enough to let me operate on the platform, right? So you gain a little bit of trust instantly when that happens. And then it's up to you to carry that conversation. That's where your scripts and stuff and your training comes in.
Right. And another thing too is think about what it means too if someone's like, hey, like, do you have a LinkedIn? Like, if I'm like, no. As they do, I do kind of have another layer of, oh, like you probably have your shit together, because I haven't made it over there yet either. Well, tell me what exactly. I know that we use this to find buyers, to find sellers. Tell me what exactly is it that you put your customers through? Tell me about that process. What does that look like?
Yeah, let's run through some of that. And I should say also, I've got a guide that I'm happy to give away to anybody that wants it. So I'll give you a link to that. Yeah. And you can put it wherever this goes, because it's going to be I can't just give you I can't tell you the URL just because it's going to be like.
Yeah, well, I'll make it leadmining.pros.com/LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make it easy on us.
And there's a guide and there's another. We could talk about the other opportunity too at the end here. Yeah. But essentially, let's walk through some of this. So the first thing you need to do is focus on that profile. You need to optimize your profile. So what does that mean? It's like, okay, great, Anthony. What do you mean by optimize? So you got this entire profile. They give you the most quote real estate to use out of all the social media platforms. That means there's a lot to work with on LinkedIn. But today we'll talk about the four most important. And these four most important are important because once you have these dialed in, then you could start doing the fun stuff like reaching out to people that you want to connect with and start the conversations and get those relationships going. And so the first area is going to be your cover image, right? That's the image at the very top. Why is that important? Because imagery is super important when it comes to people remembering, right? Because we remember about 20% of what we read, but 80% of what we see. So the visuals matter. They matter on LinkedIn. They matter on Facebook. They matter on your website. They just matter. And so on the cover image, I tell people you need to think about this in a way like, how can you convey what you do and your beliefs as they relate to your ideal target audience outcome so that they can land on your profile and understand what you do in a short period of time. So on mine, it talks about people. I have a quote on there. It's my personal belief, and that is that people and results are the two things that matter most. And I know that's important to my audience. Why? Because they want results, and they want to make sure that we are building a relationship, right? And we can learn to trust each other. And so having a cover image that conveys what you do in a very short period of time and what you believe in is super important, because that's what gets them to scroll. And you want them to scroll to the next section because at the heart of it all, and I give credit where credit's due, because I didn't figure out everything on my own. I just adapt things, I learn new things, I trial and error. And I had a mentor. I've had lots of great mentors in my life that have been a huge blessing. And by the way, if you don't believe in mentorship and you're watching this, I highly encourage you to change your mind, because it is the only shortcut in business that there is.
Right.
If you don't have the results you want and you want to get there faster, hire the people that can show you the way, that's already been in the trenches.
Right. That's right.
But the reason I say that is because I had a mentor tell me, I never forgot it. He's like, people will never first give you their money before they give you their time. So you want them to spend more time with you. And this is a small hinge that swings a big door, but you want them to scroll, right? You want them to want to learn more about you and earn their permission to do so that you can continue to build upon that. It starts off on the right foot, like I said.
Yeah, right. First impressions. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cover images are really important. I like cityscapes in the background of the city that you live in. If you speak at events or on stage like I do, I'll put a picture up there. Or for me, I'm a family guy. So I have a picture of my family on my LinkedIn profile cover image. And I do that very intentionally because I know that good marketing, this is another thing to write down if people are taking any notes. Good marketing will push people away that aren't a fit for you, and they'll pull more people that are likely a fit for you closer to you. So people see my family, are like, oh, he's one of those guys. Right. Hey, no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
I'm just not your person, and I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's a cover image. You could create one by going to Canva. Canva's a great tool for that. They've got pre-made templates. You can drag and drop and play around with it. They can go to my profile and kind of look through it. The guide will walk them through a bunch of stuff that we'll give them. And then the people that want to work a little bit more intimately, we could talk about that in a little bit too. So the cover image first, and then this is kind of very elementary when you think about it, but your profile photo is number 2. So the most important question about this one is, does your profile photo look like you really look? Like if I ran into you at the grocery store, right? Am I going to be able to recognize you? Because guess what?
AI has changed that.
Yeah, all these avatars, and let's face it, no offense to real estate agents, but they've been doing this for years, right? They're like got 57 filters that you meet them and you're like, dang, like, what's your name again? Yeah. They just don't. And I kid about that, and I have because I've worked with a lot of real estate agents in my time and investors, but the thing about it is that that's an authenticity piece, right? It didn't used to mean a whole lot. It did mean a lot, but it wasn't as scrutinized. But now, it's way more important because of the world we live in. So that small little thing of looking like you actually look is a huge deal. So I tell people to smile, let people see your eyes. And if you've got a spouse that makes you look better like I do, you include them in the picture. Yeah. So, no shame in that. Right. Again, it's just it's creating a feeling of, they could trust you, they can see your eyeballs, you're smiling. We know when you smile at somebody in public, you're like, hey, usually people smile back.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So little things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think respecting the first impression, I think is really important. You're taking control of it because LinkedIn's putting it at the top of Google. Okay. And then you're making sure it's optimized for, just like you said, the feeling, like in mine, I've got this I'm trying to build this offshoot brand of like call the leads, right? Like just call the leads. Like, my cover photo would be call the leads. That person wouldn't be confused about what they're about to continue on. If that person ever works leads, they're probably going to scroll down because I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I think, and that's why I love what you said about marketing, how it pushes away the wrong people and brings in the right people. If they don't know what leads are, or if they think it says lead, then hey, those aren't quality. I don't want them to keep scrolling. Right. I'm not trying to convert someone who's digging mines into a lead generator, right?
Yeah.
But
you're right.
Yeah.
It all works together, and so when you dial these things in, and those are just the first 2. They're important before I move to the third thing, because as you start reaching out to connect with people, or you meet somebody somewhere and they come to your profile, that profile can do a lot of heavy lifting for you, right? So if you don't have any of that dialed in, then it's not good, right? But if you at least have these 4 areas, it's a fantastic start because of the core pillars of it, and then you can build out from there. But underneath your photo is a little area that we call the headline area. And that just needs to speak to your ideal target audience. Like, what problem do you solve? What can you do for them? And then I like to include some personalization there as well. So like on mine, I'll use acronym. I have an acronym, and then I have an emoji with a finger pointing to the right, because I know our eyes are drawn to acronyms. And also most of us read left to right. So I'm just helping the path of readership. Like, hey, you're here, let's keep reading. right? And the headline's an important section because that's, if you know anything about marketing, the headline is the most important piece.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you want to dial that in.
Yeah. That's what grabs them, you know?
Absolutely. And it's another filtering mechanism too. Like some of my clients, I've got one that's owns 3 Jeeps that are all tricked out. So he's a Jeep enthusiast. So that's part of his headline.
Right.
Right? I'm a Jeep enthusiast. It just personalizes a little bit because although LinkedIn is different than Facebook, you're still building relationships. And how you build relationships is you do get personal. So you want to include some of that in the right way. And so that's one way that you could do it in your headline. And then outside of the headline, there's this big section called the About section. And that's where you have the most space to be able to sell on what you do. Now, when I say sell, I don't mean like do it in a braggadocious way or like a slimy way. You're going to write it more like a sales letter. You're going to want to have a lot of white space, short, punchy sentences. But you want to talk about what you do, why it's important, why people trust you. And you wrap that all together instead of saying, you know what, I'm the world's best at this. This is how great I am. This is why you should hire me. You're letting them step into that themselves by just sharing what you do for others.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So and that part is hard for a lot of people because they just don't know what they don't know. And they'll go in there and they'll put it in like third person. So many people have this where like, Nick loves this. He also likes to do this. And it's like, no, you want to step out of third person and into first person because that's more personable.
Yeah, I like that, and so do you help, does this guide, or do you help craft a good about? Do you like talk about the ingredients that it takes to get there to help give them that copywriting skill?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, you can either go learn copywriting and take all those hundreds of hours to try to
Or
figure it
follow
out,
those
or
10
yeah, or you could just come in and work with people like me that understand it, can help you shape that up really really quickly. Yeah, so the guide lays out some formulas
Okay.
because I'm really big on value. So like people, they give me a little bit of a hard time sometimes because they're like, why do you share so much for free? I'm like, because I'm here to serve, and the right people that want my help, they'll step up. And that's why like the guide will walk people. I've had people laying their biggest clients off just using my
Right.
guide.
Right.
So that's fine. But we also have a community where inside this community, we do bi-weekly calls where we just help dial in everything. And then I have a full-blown LinkedIn training that I include in there that I've charged thousands of dollars for many times, that I just put in there because I want people to get results. I want to create a community where people can come and learn what really works, can dial things in specific to them, what they're going through, any situational stuff, challenges, whatever it is. But then I also love what happens in the community where people are now, they're talking about doing deals together, which is, that's what you want, right? You want a tide that raises all ships. And so that's what we've created in that community.
I love that. So tell us just real fast. We talked about making the first impression. We talked about the goals, relationships. I love that you have this community. How much is that community?
A couple $100 a month.
Okay, awesome.
I do. I actually am giving a discount for the first month, 50% off for anybody in your group that wants to test. I test drive it, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
don't let's not get married right now. Let's just,
Okay.
let's go on a couple dates, see if you like it. If it's great and you love it, stick around. If you don't, no harm, no foul. But like I said, there's a full-blown LinkedIn training in there that goes through step by step.
So it's $100 the first month, and then $200 a month after that is what
Yep.
it would be. And then it is a self-guided LinkedIn mastery class, right? Is essentially what it is.
Yeah. Plus support, coaching, and we do a lot of other things. We talk about email stuff and things like that because all these things are becoming more and more important, even for somebody that is a solopreneur. Like, you got to know what you're doing, what's going on, what to look out for.
Email is a nightmare. I'll tell you, email is even though it's like one of the, it feels like the oldest form of communication. It does feel like that, right? It feels like regular mail, but Man, it's its whole own monster. That's the problem you guys solved for me was very difficult to solve. There's all kinds of things I have no idea what you even did, and yeah, so anyways, I respect. And nothing's worse than not knowing how to solve one of your problems in your business. Then you do have to pay an expert, to keep costs low. You do need to figure. So it's cool that you guys offer a plethora of services inside of that, and that's really cool. And so now, tell us we mentioned buyers and sellers. I just want to get to to give the audience like where the rubber meets the road. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about, and I know it's kind of the same process, but tell us about what are we doing to find buyers and sellers?
That's yeah, I love that question. So once you have your profile dialed in, now when you start reaching out to people, you want to think about who could be great referral partners for you, first of all. So who in your locality or the geographies that you serve and you do your business in, who could be great referral partners for you? Let me give you some examples. CPAs. Nobody knows their clients better than CPAs. So guess what they're going to know? They're going to know when somebody's going through distress. They're going to know when somebody was looking to sell. They're going to know when somebody's looking to invest or buy. Like they have the keys to the kingdom, right? That's just one. You got insurance professionals. Sometimes real estate agents can be really great for referral partners. So those are just three, and there's thousands of them, right? So if you just take those and you think about if I could reach out to those people and start building a relationship with them, and I become the person that they send the people to that meet the criteria for what I do, guess what? That's going to be another stream of lead flow and deal flow that's coming through on top of anything else you're already doing. Because as you know, Nicholas, I'm a huge fan for what you do. Like the data and stuff. I mean, I think it's unmatched. But how do you diversify, right? Because some people are like, okay, I got this dialed in. Now how do I go out and get more opportunities? Well, here's another way. And the beauty of it is you don't have to pay advertising to do it. So you put together who you want to reach out to, and then we have an entire messaging template library that we actually our people in the community get the benefit off of our high level done for you because we pass down what works to them and let them do it on their own. So the messaging, the getting people to want to hop on a Zoom chat or meet for coffee or have a phone call. I mean, this thing here, right? That we forget has a phone function. Like you just have a phone call if you want. But getting multiple of those people that can send you those deals, those leads, it's a huge game changer. And again, it's based on relationship. And what makes you different from somebody else that does exactly what you do in your same area? If all things are equal, the one thing that changes it all is a relationship. So let's say that you have a relationship with the CPA in your area and you got some other real estate investor calling that person. They end up on a lead list and they're talking to that person, but then the CPA says, hey, you need to talk to Anthony or Nicholas.
Right.
What do you think's going to happen? The relationship's going to win.
Yeah. Well, no, that's so true. Even with me, like I know a bunch of people that sell solar. And when someone comes and knocks on my door for solar, my one response is, I have 5 friends that do this. If I want solar, I'll go through them. Goodbye. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's a similar with the realtor, right? If our friend, I have 2 friends that are realtors. If I want to sell a property, I owe it to them to use them first because they are my friend. I think that's I love what you said because that's exactly what comes up for me. Those are real life examples of and it's like a no brainer. Like I would never even not use my realtor friend, Crystal, who used to be one of my managers at Lead Mining. Like I owe her. I owe her. Our relationship is strong. She worked for me for a year, and so I would never sell my house to anyone else. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
And I've already made my mind up about that, right? And I think that that's what happens when
There's
you
no
meet-
changing it either, right? There's no
right.
convincing you that it's
Right.
not going to happen.
Yeah, but no, I think that that's a great point. We don't realize that, and I think that I love that because I always say, get them to fall in love with you. You're saying, remember what that love does for you. That love solidifies the number 1 slot if this were to come up. And in the meantime, the other cool part too is when the relationship's there, when the talk needs to be tough, I always say that that relationship absorbs it, right? If we're super close and I do now maybe make a low offer or I do have to do something, it's like, hey, because you do, oh, well, Nick, if this offer came from anyone else, I'd probably be insulted, but I know who you are and how you're, and I know that these are the numbers,
They
right?
know your
So
integrity. Yeah, the integrity goes along with that, right? Because you and I both know that there's a lot of real estate investors out there, and there's a small percentage that operate in the way we're talking about. So you can get a huge leg up by doing this the right way. And you know what else is great for LinkedIn? Just before I forget to mention it, is like there's a lot of real estate investors on the platform. So if there's if you want to partner up with, sometimes people partner up with other investors because of one thing or another that makes sense and they could collaborate. See it all the time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think JVing is such a huge opportunity. And then, did you get into the? I don't believe so, but the tool, because LinkedIn actually provides native tools to actually make your life easier. So there really isn't a ton of manual work involved here. You really just have to know your demographic and know the tool, insert the script. I mean, and then that's what, and I'm kind of asking a question and maybe
Yeah.
asking for clarity, right? But when we talked about it the other day, it's like LinkedIn has some native tools that they
Yeah.
offer to promote connection, right? To promote referrals. So now that we've got the referrals dialed in and working on the relationship, tell us a little bit about this tool and how that makes our life easier, because it's not a big manual process, at least on the outreach part, if I'm not mistaken. I think you explained this to me briefly, but the outreach itself isn't super manual. When they come back, you now need to, that's 100% manual because now we have to build that relationship. But to get their attention has some automation built to it. Is that right?
Yeah, so there is some automation. It's not within the LinkedIn,
Okay, got it.
not that LinkedIn. Well, how do I phrase this the right way? It's not in a tool that LinkedIn owns.
Provide. Got it.
So let's talk about these for a second. One of the tools you're talking about is Sales Navigator.
Okay, yeah.
Sales Navigator is a really great tool for a couple reasons. One, you can really search and refine down to the exact type of target you're looking for. So if you know that if you're looking for referral partnerships or things like that, if you know that CPAs with this amount of employees with this much time in their business and are in this area, they are better for you as referral partners. Now you could have that set up as a lead list. And so what happens is as more people meet those criteria, LinkedIn will add them into that list automatically. So when I teach you to, hey, block off this time on your calendar, 30 minutes on, Monday, Wednesday, Friday to go through and just kind of clear out your inbox, it's going to take some of that work off of your plate. Then there's an automation tool that we use that I don't share because I've tested a lot of them. I do share it with my members, but there's a lot out there that you can use. But I've sifted and sorted through a whole bunch of them, and I finally found the one that is backed by enough money that they keep up with what's going on with LinkedIn. So that's an advantage for people that are in, my program. So I got to keep that respectfully. I share a lot of stuff, but this is one of the ones that stays close to the chest and only for the people that are on either a member or we're working with directly.
Okay, and is that in the subscription too? Is that included with that subscription?
It's not. Sales Navigator is separate from that.
Oh,
But
Sales
Sales Navigator, it does work with Sales Navigator.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So they bolt on to each other.
Yeah.
To be able to do a lot of the automation. So reaching out, this tool will do some specific other things like liking certain types of posts and sort of an engagement
Really?
component
Oh, wow.
to it. Yeah. So like I said, I've tested a lot because everybody always asks me about that, and I am not a fan of those tools because technically they violate the terms of service with LinkedIn. But the one that we have landed on, I've tested a lot, like I said, and this one is. They operate with integrity. They're not doing anything that's underhanded, and they have enough money behind them that they're actually keeping up with the changes that go on that LinkedIn tries to,
as often as possible.
keep them out. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're backed by $1 billion, company. So they've got the funds to do that. But to your point, yes, it's not like it's going to be a full-time job for somebody, especially as you get things dialed in and going. And you got to remember that, like, how many relationships do you need to change your business significantly? Right? I mean, you might need one or two. I would argue that you want to keep bringing people in to always have, opportunities, but some people might find one or two that just fills them up, and that's it. Like, it happens.
That's true. I mean, it takes one whale, right, to really change the course. But I mean, the real goal, I mean, I remember a simple correlation. I remember I used to run a Dunkin' Donuts when I was in my 20s. I was like 24 years old. And then I went through a Wendy's once, like myself. And I was like, and I've been to this Wendy's like 30 times. Don't tell anybody, okay? But I've been to those Wendy's, like, because there was one like a mile from my house and I'm a kid, right? And I went there and I see the person, I recognize them and they don't recognize me and they don't know who I am. And I remember I went back to my Dunkin' Donuts and I was like, we all need to get, 5 customer names a week.
Yes.
What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? I said, I'll do 10. You guys do 5. Okay. And, exactly to your point, I felt a reason not to do business. You said it earlier. And I'm even in my 20s back then. And I'm like, these guys don't know who I am. I run a fast food restaurant too. Okay. And we did know a lot of our regulars there, but I was like, we need more regulars. How do we generate more regulars? Like, I became irregular after I realized that my regularship wasn't working. Okay. And so then I didn't go to Wendy's anymore. And not like as a thoughtful protest, but just as like a realization. But I think that that's so similar to exactly what your point is. Like, we should be bringing in, hey, we should have 2 coffee dates a week. Here's how I would run it, right? Hey, I need to send 20 messages, maybe 50. I'm not sure the ratios, whatever my ratios are. I need to send that ratio to get 2 in-person. I need 5 phone calls, 2 coffee visits a week. That's what I would want to do. And you could probably even relate it to speed dating. It's like, hey, I do need to go on 51-minute dates. And out of those 51-minute dates, I might actually have 2 people that I like. It might not be 25 people, right?
Yeah.
So like you really get to sift through that. I think that's actually a really cool system.
Yeah, and I think the name of the game is credibility too. It's credibility in relationships because, for example, one of the things you can do that we do a lot of is we get people on podcast through LinkedIn. So, and when somebody gets on kind of like I'm here, like if somebody, or your other podcast, if somebody Googles my name, all the podcasts that I'm on show up. So what does that do for my credibility? Right? It's like being on somebody's stage. Credibility is the name of the game, and because you want it to be a non-issue. You just want it to be like, look, this person is being called by 2 different people. Then they look each person up. You want it to be a completely no-brainer for them. Oh, I'm going with Nicholas. This is crazy. He's on podcasts. Like, he's got this dialed in LinkedIn presence. I mean, he must be professional.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. Well, and that's the other part is, and then we're sculpting it. We're getting out there. And I'll tell you, once we get in front of somebody, it only gets better from there.
Yeah, I like it. And also you mentioned it, like going to have coffee with people. That's becoming more and more appreciated because of, again, AI.
Yeah.
Right.
And not only that, but also I think we're more and more secluded. I think, everyone used to go into an office. Everyone, 100% of people 7 years ago, like went into an office.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, now it's like, 30% of people are going into an office. Almost everyone I speak to, like, we got a headquarters, but don't have to show up. I'm like, huh? And so the other piece is, I think, I'm ready for more people in my life. I go out by myself like 4 nights a week. I went out yesterday and the day before. Both times I meet new people, I create new connections, and it's a part of my social hour, and it's because I'm stuck here all day. If I whenever I go to an office all day, I don't go out to dinner. I'm freaking beat because I was surrounded by people all day.
Yeah.
But when I'm home all day, oh, please invite me out for coffee. I'll
Hmm.
actually go out for coffee not because I like you, but because I'm trying to get out.
You
You
need
know.
it.
Yeah, right. Seriously, and guys, I'm speaking from direct experience.
It's
Like
true.
yeah.
We thrive on human connection, right? So it's like, and I'll tell people too, like, that's great. Go out and, because there's some people that are like probably watching this going, yeah, that's not who I am. If you force yourself to be uncomfortable like that so you can get more comfortable doing it, it helps you so much. Because I'm sort of like, I'm like that, and people don't know it because they say, oh, you speak on stage. But you know what happens every time before I go on stage? I got to go through a routine because I used to have social anxiety disorder. And that's a big problem, right, for somebody that speaks. But if you just get yourself in the right mindset and you get practice at it, it gets easier. And so, to your point, going out, and this is a favorite exercise that I do, and I encourage people to do it. Is like, if you're at the grocery store, you're going through the line, and the person checking you out, as long as they haven't converted it over to no people checking people out, right? Like in Walmart or something like that. Find something good to say about that person. Compliment them. Hey, I really like your hair. That shirt's awesome. Where'd you get that shirt? Or something like that. People don't do that. Like, it's very rare. But when you do that, watch and see them light up. And you'll get more comfortable yourself. And that right there is a game changer. It's like the how to win friends and influence people.
Well, yeah, and it's such a good muscle. Even for me, I found myself getting introverted just from working from home for 8 years. And so I actually just rented a co-working space, and I go out there a couple days a week, and that's changed everything. I actually like running errands again. When you're home a lot, you like staying home. When you go out a lot, you like going out. So maybe not try to look at it as introvert extrovert, but you know a muscle you should lift, is something you should exercise, something you should practice at and get good at, and it's really not even that difficult or scary. Now I understand it could be, but it is a skill, and when you get in front of a seller, you're going to have to use that skill. I mean, you could really consider this practice or anything. Hey, you know what? This is actually super low pressure. I'm just meeting, and my goal to meet with this construction worker is if I meet with any sellers that don't want to sell, but their houses are beat up, I want to send him these leads so I get 10%. This guy's going to be so excited. Hey, construction, hey, general contractor.
Yeah.
If I send you leads, would you guys pay me out any kind of referral fee? I'll tell you, I would love it if someone offered to take me out to lunch and find me customers for
Oh, yeah.
10%.
That's perfect. That's another a use case for what we're talking about here with LinkedIn. It's like having a pipeline of those people that you can pass off as, another stream of income.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think I totally see the light here, right? And like we said, it's Sales Navigator, it's automated software, it's handling the inbound. We want 5 phone calls, 2 appointments, 1 connection, right? 1 deep connection. I think our great metrics. If we're doing that and we're meeting with all the locksmiths in the area and the contractors and the realtors and the CPAs, right? And we're meeting with all of these people in the area, and we're pulling them right off of LinkedIn. And guess what? That's probably their first stop. The average small business, I say their first stop is Google, right? Google My Business. It's free. It's easy. You create it in a second. Well, the truth is these other guys, these CPAs, and these locksmiths and these other people, their first stop is to go create a LinkedIn profile because that's full of their network. These other investors, that's their kind of gathering place. And I'm kind of seeing that now.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's just taking advantage to where the crowd, and it's qualified. It's qualified. It's qualified with income. I don't know if you know the metric, but I heard like the average Facebook user makes like 100K a year, and I bet the average LinkedIn user is above that kind of thing. Because it's like it is a bigger room. And it's a more qualified place to be. So it's not as cold. If you're Instagram or Facebook cold DMing, like that's cold. But these people, that they meet certain qualifications.
Yeah. And you know what? Another important fact the matter here is that how many other investors are taking advantage of this right now? A very small percentage. So you have an opportunity to really go in when it's still just wide open, blue ocean opportunity to really stake your claim in your local area or whatever areas that you're serving. And once you got the relationship, guess what? Just like you said, they're not going anywhere as long as you nurture that relationship.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Anthony, tell us, how do we find you? How does this work? Like, what exactly do you offer, and then how do we find you? To me, I know that one of them is going to be leadminingpros.com/LinkedIn. Okay, that's going to be for the free guide. And then what are the other two things? Tell us a little bit about the subscription. Tell us about the more intimate offer, and then how do we find you online?
Yeah. So as far as the community goes, so yeah, you can get the guide at that link. Maybe you give them do we want to give them another link for the page to get the because I got a coupon code for them. And so why don't I get you that link? You could create an easy Lead Mining Pros link for that, and then I give you the coupon code as well so they can take advantage of that. But essentially, that will get you into our community where there's a full-blown LinkedIn training. So that's like an entire workshop I did. I think it's like 5 or 6 hours long total, but where I really dive deep into all these different areas and how to use it. And it's live with people on the actual training. So people are asking questions and all that good stuff. And then in that group, we meet every other week. So we hop on a live call. We're sharing new things at work. We're answering questions, making sure that if anybody's got challenges, we're helping them overcome them. But in between those calls, we're also kind of helping to dial in stuff. Like, for example, if somebody is optimizing their profile, they can shoot over their headline, their about section, and we'll walk through it. Sometimes I'll just rewrite it for them. I just did this yesterday. Had someone, she did her about section and she followed some of my information, but she didn't quite have it. So I said, let me take it. I'll put my own spin on it. What I know works. And so I gave her a completely new draft, and she's like, holy crap, like that is insane. Yeah. Right. And so we do that kind of stuff in this group. We just really want to make sure everybody's on the right track. And there's some other stuff in there about how to get more 5-star Google reviews and all kind of there. It's just stuff that we're using now with our higher level clients that we are helping the people that they're not at that stage yet to be able to go and do it on their own. And that's the whole reason behind this community, was that over the past probably 18 months, talked to a lot of people that just weren't at that level for us to work with them. But I saw so many people I could help. And I'm like, let's bring this out and make sure that we can help those folks too. And the ones that, they move up and they get busy and they want to hire us at a higher level, that's totally fine. But worst case scenario, they're getting the help they need without going somewhere else and spending money on a program that probably is not going to work.
Right.
You know, so that's what the community is all about. I'll give you the link to that so you can create the special link for your people.
Okay.
And
That's
then
awesome.
If you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, you can, just under my name, Anthony Simonie. And you can reach me at anthony@foundmoneypartnerships.com as well if you want to shoot an email. Make sure you reference Nicholas on those emails just so I know where you came from and what the context is, because that's kind of important on some of those emails, because I'll know what we talked about.
Yeah. But no, I think that's awesome. So the other link, I'll just create it now. The other link for the community, I'll actually just make LinkedIn community. Okay, so leadminingpros.com/LinkedIn community will take you to that. And I think that's a great offer. And if you guys remember, we said 50% off the first month. Okay, that's $100. And guys, I'd recommend going in there. He says it's only 6 videos, and that's a great foundation. That seems easy to digest, okay? And then implement. I can tell you, I'm going to sign up and give it to my marketing person is what I'm going to do, and just have them do it for us, at Lead Mining, get us all set up. But I think that's pretty cool. And then no matter what, we've got the guide, okay? So if you want,
the guide is super helpful.
Yeah.
People are going to see the guide and go, oh, wow, this is a lot. It's good value. It's intentional. right? I want you to see that I'm real and that what we do works, that kind of a thing.
Very cool.
Yeah, if you want that, the coupon code is just going to be FMP50, FMP50.
Okay, cool. F50. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
for them to get the $50 off, the 50% off the first month.
That's right. Yeah, so that gives them an opportunity to test drive everything and experience
love
it,
that.
and just make it easier
for
on people to try it
$100
out.
For $100, if you go in there and have a great first 15 days in there, right? Really put it to use. I bet you'd be walking away with a ton of knowledge. So I think thank you for offering that. I think that's huge. All right, man. Well, thank you for so much for being here today. I think that this is very cool. I'm thinking about all the untapped potential for me. This is even an opportunity for me to go into other industries. Mainly real estate investors are attracted to me, but my calling and texting can serve anybody. We have served hundreds of other industries. I've just never focused on them. If that kind of makes sense. So yeah, my gears are turning. Guys, if you're watching this, some homework for you is, what are some industries that your leads are sitting on their desk, right? That's really what we want to be doing. That's going to be the best thing. We then want to meet with these people and then come up with a relationship where we both send each other leads and opportunities. Okay, so I'd say, before we get into any of this, let's think about who are the peripheral business. Let that be your guide. Spend 10 minutes and really brainstorm. Use ChatGPT. Right? Think about all the things, because one of the things Anthony brought up was not a lot of people are doing this, and that is to your benefit. So A, not a lot of people are doing it, so you're going to be at the top of the list. B, if you can think of really unique other businesses that your real estate leads are, chances are definitely no one's calling them. A lot of people call realtors and go, hey, send me your ugly, send me your ugly leads. That's probably the most common one. Realtors are still a good option, but that's probably the most common, right? Then we have locksmiths. Hey, this guy's going around changing locks, all the time. Right, he knows the tire. Hey, what landlord have you changed locks 4 or 5 times in the last 2 months? Okay, that's the guy. I need to buy that house. Okay, right. Those are the truly. People don't think about stuff like this. Okay, but if you can think of also obscure sources of your leads, it's going to also be even better. As well. But Anthony, anything you want to share with us before we get out of here today?
No, I think this has been great. I just honored to be here and share and serve the people watching. I know that people can be a million other places, so I genuinely appreciate the time that everybody spent to be here, and hopefully I brought enough value for you to justify, at least if I come on again, that you'll attend and find additional value. But yeah, I'm excited to work with those that sign up, and I'm looking forward to hearing about a lot of success.
Yeah, no, me too. And guys, for the free guide, it's leadminingpros.com/LinkedIn. Okay. And then to get access to the page for the community is leadminingpros.com/LinkedIn community. So check those 2 things out. Definitely get that guide no matter what. I'm about to download it and get it over to my team. We got some optimization. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah.
And man, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. We'll see y'all soon.
Yeah. See you, buddy.